Hi, my name is Fi, and I'm here to talk to you about the EPIK program. Just for whoever doesn't know what EPIK means, it stands for English Program in Korea, and it is a reputable South Korean government-sponsored program that hires English teachers in Korean public schools. I'll start with how I found out about EPIK. Well, I just finished college, but before I finished, when I was in my last semester, well, before that actually, my last year, I should say, entering my last year, um, I knew that I wasn't ready to go for a master's. I just wanted to kind of take a break, but do something productive. And I wanted to travel. That was my biggest thing. Is I want to get out and see the world. But I was thinking, there's no way I'm gonna be save that much money and travel to many places. I can probably go to like one place, and I wasn't even sure because even if I'd be able to save that much, because it really wasn't working. So, how do you save without a job? Anyway, I started researching online, traveling on a budget, traveling for cheap, just traveling, and one thing that came up the most was teaching English. I said, okay, well, that's a good start. So when I started researching more on teaching abroad, I discovered South Korea, and that was a place I was really kind of like drawn to it, and I kind of just started focusing more on Korea and more about Korean culture, and it's a place I really want to go to. Long story short, I discovered EPIK, and also I found a person on YouTube. His name is Paul. He's also my friend, and he confirmed at the time he was in Korea, like he should definitely apply to EPIK because that's what he did. And I said, you know what? I think I will, and I did. And this was in June 2012. Believe it or not, that was the first time I applied, and I applied through a recruiting company, Reach to Teach. And as soon as I applied, literally the next day, I got an email back saying, due to a high volume of applicants, we're sorry, but we cannot proceed with the application. And I was just thinking, wow, man, is that many people applying to go to South Korea? So I was a little bummed, but I didn't let it discourage me. I kept going, and I looked for something else, another opportunity. My mind was made up that I wanted to leave the States. Like, I just wanted to go. And I found, I'm not going to mention the other recruiting company, but I did find another opportunity to go to Chile. But this was a volunteering program, and it was a good opportunity, but it wasn't something that it wasn't my first choice. I was still kind of hung up on Korea, and I really wanted to go to Korea. But I said, you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and maybe I want to go to Chile. And the recruiting company that I was going through with Chile was very laid back. Obviously, they didn't require you to have like a TOEFL or a teaching certificate, and because it's just volunteering, so that all they ask is that you were a native English speaker. And they were very laid back. They didn't have too much of a time limit. They're just like, just get it done within reasonable time, documents and things like that. So it was pretty interesting. It was pretty cool experience. But right before I paid, a lot of volunteering programs in, I'm not gonna say only third world countries, but countries outside the US, Canada, and UK tend to actually have you pay to volunteer versus them pay you. And so, right before I paid my, I guess you'd call it participation fee, Reach to Teach got back to me and said, hey, are you interested in continuing or proceeding with the application process? And I'm thinking, yeah, perfect timing. Literally, like, I was getting ready to pay. I'm thinking, okay, great. So, it's kind of messed up, and I jumped ships, and I went to Reach to Teach, went with them, and I started applying for Korea. Well, I made the mistake number one. I made the mistake by thinking that this recruiting company would also be laid back like the last one I dealt with. So because I was kind of laid back myself, I procrastinated getting some things done. And one of the things that should have been done way before the time that I actually did it was actually getting my FBI background check. That takes, it says it takes 8 to 10 weeks, so I was already a month behind, which is a little scary because, and the only reason why it's scary, even though I'm starting my teaching job in August, I already bought a ticket to go elsewhere this summer in June, which is in a week. But at that time, I had like 2 months, so I'm thinking, or 3 months. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be right. It's gonna get here right when, like, I'm getting ready to leave. This is crazy. I'm not gonna make it, and that was one thing. And once you get your FBI background check, you have to get it apostilled, which is basically something with that authenticates your document, saying that it is valid and it's real. Not only that, but another thing was the application process with EPIK is very thorough. They want to know everything about you. So if you're one of those people who are, drink excessively, or smokers, illegal drugs, people who aren't interested in their culture, you might not as well even apply, because they want to know every school you've been to since you were pretty much walking, or the first school you ever been to. They want to know how long you were there for. Every school, college, every college you've been to that contribute to your credits to graduating. They want to know how many drinks you have per week, and they want to know how many tattoos you have, the description of them, and just other things. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. It really wasn't bothersome to me, but I'm just letting someone else know in case you haven't even applied or even had a chance. Talk about a little bit about Reach to Teach experience. My recruiting company is awesome. They helped me with my application process, walked me through everything. When I sent it to them, and when I thought it was complete, they sent it back saying you need to fix X, Y, and Z, fill in some gaps, because once we send it to Korea, that's it. We're not in control. So please, make these changes. One other thing they did with me is they did a mock interview, which was so good, because they get to interview you with questions that they think EPIK would ask you. And after you're done, they give you your feedback on what they liked, what they disliked, what you need to improve on. My mock interview went pretty well, so I only had to fix a few things. They also, let's see, what they helped me with? Gosh, there's so much. They check up on you, pretty frequently. How are your documents going? How's everything going? And it's nice to know. Oh, one other thing, they're affiliated, or they work with a TEFL company, which is in UK. It's called Eye to Eye, and Reach to Teach is affiliated with them in the sense that they will provide you a discount if you get your TEFL from Eye to Eye. I didn't have a TEFL certificate, so I was thinking, and there's so many out there, you don't even know which one you should get. TESOL, TEFL, CELTA. I learned that aside from a CELTA, TESOLs and TEFLs, they're pretty much the same thing. So I figured I'm going to go with the Eye to Eye, and I'm glad that I made that choice, because not only does Reach to Teach give you a discount, but Eye to Eye is also, which is my next subject, a very good company. I'm doing 140 hours with 20 hours to go. I've got like 2 lesson plans and I'm done. And they gave me a really good deal. It was, for 140 hours, the price was $599, but because Reach to Teach gives you a discount, I ended up paying, like, I don't remember how much, but anyway, I think it was like 10%, so like they took off like $59. It helps. But for 140 hours, it's a really good deal, because that's actually the price for 120 hours. If this is a little bit much for you, understand the difference between 120 and 140. You might want to do a little bit of research on why you want 140 hours versus 100 hours. Why it's important to pick a good company to get your ESO certification from. And this also brings my next subject is research. You need to research uh, where you want to go and why you want to go there, what the benefits are, why I chose South Korea. The benefits are awesome. They're great, especially for what I possess. I only possess a bachelor's degree, and I will be possessing a bachelor's degree with a teaching certificate. And not that that's, saying that I don't have enough, but there are some places that it's very competitive now to get in. And also a lot of places are starting to request or require, I should say, teaching license, not a certificate. They want you to be actually licensed in your state. So as of right now, Korea is the best choice for me. Find out when your documents need to be, like, for example, when they need to be ready before you send them. For example, I finished my classes, all my undergrad classes, in February, but I just walked, like, last week, was it? So middle of May. I just realized a month ago, a month ago, that during my commencement, I don't receive an actual diploma. I get a letter of completion, and my diploma gets mailed to my home 2 months post graduation, which means I would get here in July. The problem with that is, like I mentioned earlier, I already have a ticket to go to travel this summer, and I won't be back. So my diploma coming in the mail in July, and I'm supposed to start in August in Korea, will just mess things up so bad that I may not even start teaching. I could lose that opportunity because the diploma is really important. You have to have that. Not only do you need the document, but you also need to get it, once again, authenticated through by getting it apostilled. And how am I going to do that in the middle of July and then have people sending it to me and where I'm going, and then try to send it to Korea? It's going to delay the whole process. Saving money before you even apply. If you have a job, I suggest that you save as much as you can, because forget your flight and everything else. Forget even getting accepted. The fact that you will have to pay for things that you don't think about, like your FBI background check is not $10. That's just your state. That was, I can't remember the price, but that costs money. Getting things apostilled costs money. Let's see, what else? It just a lot of things. Getting stuff scanned, if you don't have a scanner, costs money. Even things like that. If you don't have a passport, that costs money. So all this stuff adds up, and then before you know it, you've already spent over hundreds of dollars. Oh, by the way, I would never recommend someone doing 140 hours in a month and a half. It's absolutely crazy, because eye to eye is very, very thorough. They truly test your knowledge. They have checkpoints. They have, especially the grammar section is crazy. Like, they have like so many things to do in a grammar, and they really want to know that you understand and you really know your grammar. So if you are thinking, and now I just recently heard that now EPIK doesn't accept people who don't have or possess a certificate, an ESL certificate, that you have to have one now before you apply. So I guess that saves you all that. Take care of your bills. Fortunately for me, I stay with the parents, so I didn't have too much to worry about in terms of getting rid of, besides like 2 credit cards and my car. Luckily, I have a sister that needs a car, and I need to get rid of one, so it worked out perfectly that I'm going to be selling it to her, and I could use some of that money to purchase my ticket to Korea or whatever else I need. I already talked about procrastination. Please don't procrastinate like I did with the FBI. I mean, it causes you so much stress. And I know some of you might say, well, I'm not a procrastinator. If you're not, kudos to you, because if I feel like I have a lot of time in my hands to do things, I will put off things. And this is just one of those things. I didn't realize the application process would be so extensive and just a lot to do. And that, I guess, in short, is pretty much my experience so far. Like I said, I am about 2 lesson plans away from getting my TEFL certificate. And once I have that, everything is complete and I'm sending it off, and I'm going to be getting my visa this summer and off to Korea hopefully. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can just leave some comments, make a comment below and I'll try to answer you.